how critical do you see INEC to the success, I mean, to mitigating this violence? Do you think that INEC can help?
From what Professor Akiyemi is saying, some people have decided that there will be violence if they do not win. That's the key point. Some people, whether INEC even have every Nigerian who is entitled to this has voters cards, people queue up properly and vote. Some people believe if they do not win, there should be violence.
So it's the win at all cost mentality.
That's the reason, and they speak to their supporters that way, by things like, oh, there are plans to rig me out. They do not want me, and then they come with it's everywhere. They come with this mosaic, feeling that I'm the one who can get things wrong. Whether in the states, whether in the local governments, you see this all going on. So that's the type of thing that gives him, the grounds for that type of prediction. Mm-hmm. It's not so much about how well INEC does as the fact that some people believe they must win these elections or there will be trouble.
Well, it would seem that we're caught between the devil and the deep blue sea, either which way or either way.
I think it's something slightly worse.
Okay.
Because we don't know how deep this sea is.
Either way, we're stuck in the sense that because these are the two primary candidates that we have for the presidential elections, and it was saying that whichever party wins, there will be violence whichever way. Especially,
I think we focus so much on the presidential elections. Violence has already started in the states. Even primaries for state houses of assembly, there have been violence. So we're not looking. We're looking at it that okay, for the presidential elections there will be violence. There will be at the state assembly. There will be for the senatorial seats. And all that will be before the presidential
But our concern, and that's what Professor Akiyemi is talking about, is for the presidential elections.
That's why you might have minimized the amount of violence.
The violence that we noticed in 2011 was post the presidential elections. That's the violence that was most glaring, and the violence that was most worrisome, and the violence that a lot of people do not want to repeat itself in 2015. Looking at the solutions that he's given here, his prophet here, do you also agree with him that the party signing a letter of commitment that there will be no violence after the elections will work any magic of some sort, considering this?
What type of paper will they sign? They sign an agreement. So if there is violence, what do? We prosecute the person who signed or prosecute the parties. It doesn't solve anything. In fact, to show that they are not the ones propagating the violence, they can sign as many papers as you want, but they are still talking to their supporters.
Because I know
that they need to win the elections.
Another example is, we heard INEC say it. They sign understandings with INEC, and eventually, what do we see? But if INEC is seen to conduct credible elections, if everybody sees that, well, yes, I lost fair and square, what are the chances that people will still be violent, having seen that?
Okay. You said if INEC is seen, it depends on who is looking.
Everybody.
No, not everybody. You don't have as much stake as the man who is saying this must happen. So you set out and you see what INEC does based on what you wanted to gain. If I set out saying I must win these elections, no matter how credible the election INEC conducts is, I will not see it as being credible. That's the thing. We are asking politicians to abridge their ambitions. There will be another 4 years, there will be another 8 years. But some of them, they set out, we must win. They run this country on the basis of election seasons. And they carry on as if the country will just end. Of course, there are issues. Somebody might feel that if I got a ticket now, next year the calculations will be I won't get the ticket. It will count against me. I'm incapable of winning elections. So now that I've got it, I have to ensure that I win. And I win, I ensure I do a second term. And I ensure I get my successor. So that's the type of mentality. Politicians have to curb their ambitions. If they do, the way they will talk to their supporters will be a lot different.
One other important aspect of all of this, they can also contribute a lot, is the media. Let's look at what the media publishes, broadcast. Do they offer themselves or as willing tools to also be used by politicians? Should there be stricter regulation of the media to ensure that they also put a check on themselves?
Okay. The issue of the media, essentially the media will report what people say. And talking of being caught between two seas, what goes on? If candidate A or party A says a particular thing and you report it, and candidate B says its own, you don't report it, you will be seen as aligning with one part or the other. But having said that, the media also, I think there are some things that should not be published. And then we've also moved to the point where we have media organizations that are entirely owned by these politicians, who also believe that what they have to do is report what these politicians are saying, and in fact come up with a lot of ideas. Because when you read some of these newspapers, you will know, you will think that this country is in more trouble than it is currently, not to talk of by the time we go through the elections.
Isn't that where regulation comes in?
Regulation might not work, except maybe self-regulation, professional regulation. And beyond that, a conviction that we have a country that we must run. Whether we're talking of the media, army, or police, or if there is no country, that would be it. That would be it. People are not thinking that what happened in Somalia, for example, can't happen here. It can. You just be a country by name is fractionalized, and maybe if your name doesn't sound any particular way, you can't get to another part of the country outside the security issues that will be involved.
That's mainstream media. What about for social media? What kind of impact do you see them also having in preventing or lending themselves to letting this happen?
I have a big challenge with what goes on in the social media, and sometimes I've been a victim myself. That's where that's where I felt that it's things that never happened. I'm not talking of maybe an issue is exaggerated or so on. It looks like some of these platforms are set up just purposely to, get a lot of people excited. One, secondly, to create problems, and thirdly, it also seems that once people see that they are being published wrongly in those places, they now go on to try and appease them. So people have also started using these platforms as instruments for blackmail. But beyond that, what we also might need to do is to get more of those platforms that can correct what is going on. If we have more of those platforms that believe in correcting what is going on, believing that we need to run this country, believing that we need to ask the hard questions. Because in the midst of all this, we are concerned about security, we are concerned about zoning, we are concerned about religion. Nobody is talking about how Nigerians will survive next year.
No, just quickly.
All right,
yes,
one at a time, though.
Okay, I know, just quickly, but this is very important. It says the violence of 2015 is going to be horrendous and worse than the one of 2011 for the simple reason that the illegal massive importation of weapons into this country has reached alarming proportions. Did that alarm you?
It will alarm me, but I also have a feeling that it's not just one side that might be getting those arms. So if we have a balance of force, people might then restrain themselves.
Oh dear. Well, Pt.2 Isiguzo is the chairman of the editorial board of Vanguard Newspapers. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we'll be back in just a moment. We should take a look at a comment or two from you, hopefully. So join us again. All right, I'm just trying to see if waiting for those tweets to pop up before we just call it a day. Well, this comes from Malaki, who talks about the 2015 budget. Says the analysis is becoming scary. We should stop our overdependence on oil. If it were that easy, actually.
YK says, while other oil-producing countries are cutting taxes, Nigeria is planning to increase tax.
And Dudu says military justice is the bedrock of military professionalism, and this is the cornerstone of morale.
You can say that again, Dudu. No, I mean in a different way, actually. That's it today. Thank you for watching. We'll be back tomorrow. I'm Chamberlain also.
Well, thank you. Do remember to buy Nigeria, especially during this Christmas season.
When you say buy Nigeria,
it's
buy Nigeria, rice, chicken.
Yes, and look for the rice. They made in Nigeria rice. I haven't seen anyone. Look for it.
Well, thank you for watching. I'm Nel Taigwe, and thank you for all the comments.